say what you want about Republicans, but they are the quickest people on earth with a lie. Being a MAGA Republican right now has got to feel like in a public bathroom and finding out there's no toilet paper. You're like, well, these are the facts, and I got to get real creative real quick. And you just run out of the bathroom like, they're eating the pets! In there!
I want to give a shout out to the comedians for always keeping it together.
Trump is interesting because Trump is like, he's kind of like an STD, you know? Or like, you know, I never cared about politics. And when Trump got in office, it was so entertaining. And I was like learning about the judicial system and everything, you know? Same with an STD. I never cared about it. You get a wart on your dick, you're like, what the fuck?
For always finding a way to put these troubling times in perspective.
If you're a Trump supporter and you're in here, I don't mean to offend you, okay? I want you to know that I would still date a Trump supporter. I would date a Trump supporter because it seems like no matter how much I would f up, you would still adore me, so...
For helping us laugh through the pain.
I get misgendered in the city a lot. That's not even the funny part of the joke. No. I was walking down the street the other day, and this red hat, like, conservative guy walked up to me, and he was like, hey, just so you know, no matter what, you will always be a man. And I was like, thank you? I think he thought I was like a trans woman, you know, and like, that was really gonna like, insult me. But the truth is, I needed to hear that. That felt good. I was like, thanks, Dad.
For telling us of their travels and experiences within different parts of the United States of America.
I was in North Carolina recently. You've gotten to know me a little bit. I don't think I give off a North Carolina vibe politically. But I was in Asheville, North Carolina, which is like the hippie enclave. It's breweries and biking. It's a blue city in a red state. And I love nothing more than a blue city in a red state. Because those people are liberal to prove a point. They wear their politics like a middle finger to the rest of the state. So you go out there and you're like, it's my first time in Asheville, never been here before. And they're like, we can do an abortion tonight. We are not like the rest of them. You want to get gay married? We can get it done in a half hour. Red city, blue state, same thing the other way. They're overcompensatingly conservative. You go out there, you're like, I'm a comedian, I'm in the arts. They're like, I have a gun. It's loaded, and the safety's off. So how do you want tonight to go, joke boy? Blue city, blue state? Forget about it, that's my shit. All I do is hit home runs. Gather around, libtards, let the circle jerk begin. Your mouth, my mouth, who gives a shit? I'm non-binary. Red city, red state. Oof. I wouldn't know. They don't book Jews. Never been. I hear the barbecue's good.
And for also taking on the opposition one by one.
Okay, is anyone like a proud Trump voter? Someone said I voted for Trump. Yeah, okay. Everyone else is like, get him. Oh yeah, you did? Let's this. Yeah? You wanna know about my boy Joe? And what's your name, sir? Justice. Is that your name, or was that like an alt-right comment? I think I'm gonna get the shit out of me when I get off stage. It's a weird place when the stage doing stand-up comedy for people that are actively heckling you is the safest place you can be. I didn't even say anything mean about Trump. Yet, motherfucker. No. I mean, I'm obviously liberal. I'm a Jew from New York. It's, you know, I'm who you voted to make sure it doesn't have power again, and it's not gonna happen.
Even if, in the process, they are taking some serious risks.
I had a friend, Jenna Friedman, who just posted on Instagram, comedian, that she was performing in Vancouver, and when she came back to America, and Customs asked, what do you do? She said she's a comedian. They said, do you talk about politics in your set, and do you make fun of the president? And she said she answered truthfully, which I think is yes for her. And they didn't take her. They let her go, but they asked.
Right.
They asked, and that just is. I mean, I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but I definitely don't think that I am immune to having some kind of backlash, or that I couldn't be put on some kind of list because of some story I reposted that was. I mean, you look at other places that have dictators, You're not allowed to say bad things about them before they became a dictator or after. So I'm kind of on a list at this point, probably. But he's so hot that I think that I'll have that. I stand by that. I may disagree with his policy, but I'm so sexually attracted to him.
Because at the end of the day,
it was crazy. Trump picked his cabinet like a 9-year-old playing with action figures. He's just like, and the Secretary of Defense will be the Incredible Hulk. The Secretary of Energy is Pikachu. And the Secretary of State, half of Godzilla, half of Godzilla. Dude, it's crazy. What the hell? He has RFK Jr. up there now as Secretary of Health. He's wild. RFK Jr. is absolutely wild. Dude, at RFK Jr., every time I see RFK Jr. talk, it's like randomly generated text. Right? He's like, when I was a little boy, I used to have a hawk. He would take me to the top of the mountain and feed me worms. My father would go to McDonald's as a boy and eat all of the toys. We're bringing polio back.
Now I want to be clear about something else very, very quickly, okay? That Nikki Glaser video via Time and now this Impact, where she says a comedian friend of hers was stopped by customs. And when they said, the subject, Jenna Friedman, says that she was a comedian, customs asked her if she does political humor. This is the second time that I have heard this story. The first was a few weeks ago through a friend who knows a comedian who also came back from Canada, and customs said, oh, you're a comedian? Do you do any jokes about the president? Very forward question. And that dude did not tell the truth. Did not tell the truth. Probably because at that point he is in fight or flight mode, which I also very much understand. But let me be clear. It's not just comedians who are at risk here. It is members of the media. It is journalists who are breaking stories because the Trump administration does not thrive off of journalism. They would thrive off of eradicating journalism. They would thrive off of not a free press, but a biased press. And that's exactly what you have seen in those White House press briefings, where they have had quite literal MAGA influencers to cosplay as journalists and ask serious questions, glazing the president, glazing Caroline Leavitt. So what Nikki Glaser said is alarming because I have heard it from other people as well who work in comedy and have been asked those very same questions. The World Cup is coming up, you know what that means?
And I will say, before I turn it over to the next speaker, that of course everybody is welcome to come and see this incredible event. I know we'll have visitors probably from close to 100 countries. We want them to come, we want them to celebrate, we want them to watch the game, but when the time is up, they'll have to go home. Otherwise, they'll have to talk to Secretary No.
More deportations! To give an idea on the attendees front, a nonprofit group representing the travel industry, which is called the U.S. Travel Association, is estimating 6 million visitors embarking on the United States for the World Cup. And guess who was tapped as the executive director of the 2026 Men's World Cup Task Force?
What makes you qualified for this?
Sure. Well, I am the only candidate that spent parts of 5 different decades of my life in politics or public service.
To be clear, Andrew Giuliani is not promising to make math great again.
How do you get
I don't
5
think it's going to
decades?
go
You're
over.
only
I don't think it's going to
35.
go over with New York.
Parts of 5 decades. Let me clarify. I said parts of 5 decades in there. So if we go back through it, my father's first campaign was 1989, so we could do the math. I spent 32 years in politics.
Because reminder, he's 35. So by osmosis, it appears he's saying that he absorbed his father's 5 decades of professional work, even though he personally wasn't alive for all of those decades.
Andrew Giuliani. If that name sounds familiar, your spidey sense is correct. He is the son of Rudy Giuliani, the same man who tried to take off his pants with Borat's 15-year-old daughter, Tutat, played by Maria Bakalova. Talk about a DEI hire, am I right? What sort of swamp are we draining here exactly?
Andrew Cuomo. So let's not forget that he is the son of Mario Cuomo. He's part of the establishment, and his dad was one of the most corrupt people in New York. Well, he's one of the most corrupt politicians in New York and everything. So, I mean, he's been raised within this. We don't want someone that's part of like this established. So where am I going? So
where are you going with it?
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
So wait,
don't worry about it. We got time.
Okay. So Mario Cuomo was one of the most corrupt politicians. And then we have his son. He's part of the establishment, right?
I think it's even worse than that. I think Andrew Cuomo has made the establishment even that much worse.
I know how you feel about CRT.
Educational opportunities, more school choice, no more critical race theory.
School choice.
Yep, more school choice, no more critical race theory. Let's start teaching our children an honest history of America, truly showing that America is great, not perfect, but great. And guess what? Great and getting better. America is great and
getting better again.
It's a bit long, but I hear what you're going with it.
We want to get forced indoctrination out of schools.
100%.
Okay.
It's very scary.
And we need kids saying the Pledge of Allegiance again.
Yes.
And not kneeling.
Yes.
And they can't
Absolutely.
kneel. They got to say it under God, indivisible, like every morning.
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
under
God, indivisible, with
yes.
liberty and justice for all.
So let's get the indoctrination out of schools,
Yeah.
this forced indoctrination.
Yeah.
And who is working under Giuliani? This man, Carlos Cordero, pictured with Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, who also has quite a history. Former United States Soccer Federation President Cordero announced as a senior advisor to Giuliani would quit his post as USSF president just 3 days after papers were filed in a gender discrimination case where they argued the women's team had less ability and skill than the men's team. They'd claim it's not sexist, but quote, indisputable science. So when you think about it, he is a perfect fit for this Trump-led task force. On that Vance quote, are we seeing the prison industrial complex get bulked up to the point that it's almost on steroids? Quite possibly. Then there are the gulags in El Salvador and the alleged backdoor deal, according to Dropsite News and Ryan Grimm, that took place. One MS-13 leader, real name Cesar Humberto Lopez Larios, was involved in private negotiations between Bukele and the gang. The leader of El Salvador denies this took place. However, via Dropsite, had Greñas' case gone forward in the States, the sordid links between Bukele and the gang he is famous for warring against may have been aired publicly. Instead, federal charges were dismissed 4 days before his expulsion due to sensitive and important foreign policy considerations, according to a recently unsealed Justice Department document. The DOJ initially requested the document be sealed because its release could cause harm to the government's relationship with El Salvador. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.
Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada. My parents had relatives that lived in Canada, my mother in particular. And I love Canada. I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, how good, the great one. You happen to have a very, very good hockey player right here on the Capitals, who I have a lot of respect. He is a big, tough cookie, too. He just broke the record, and he's a great guy. And, we had the team here, and I got to know a lot of the players. But now Canada is a very special place.
That was United States President Donald Trump when he was meeting with Mark Carney, and he was speaking about great Canadians. And then he somehow mentions Alexander Ovechkin. Why? So, he lumps in Ovechkin with Gretzky and others who are Canadian on the topic of Canada. To be clear, Alexander Ovechkin is from Russia. Mark Colley of the Toronto Sun wrote as such. In his Oval Office meeting with Prime Minister Carney on Tuesday, Trump implied Ovechkin, who was born in Moscow and last month passed Gretzky as the NHL's all-time goal leader, is indeed a Canadian. How? How do you do this so often? To give an idea of how fond Ovechkin is of a fellow dictator, look no further than his Instagram account. The profile photo is of who? Ovechkin and Vladimir Putin. He helped launch a group called Putin Team online with the caption reading, "Through the site, you can become a member of a huge team, of Putin's team, which unites people who are proud of their country and want to make Russia stronger." Where have we heard those words before? In our leader, we value his trust and his respect for people, his fairness and righteousness, and the fact that he really cares. Insane. And yet, when Alexander Ovechkin would be asked about the illegal invasion of Ukraine, he would say, "I want peace. I'm not a political person." Really? You sure about that? So he'd even give a testimonial. "I am Alexander Ovechkin, the hockey player. I created the Putin team to unite those who are proud of Russia and our president and who want to make our country stronger, join us and be on that team, not to be left off." Pittsburgh Penguins star Evgeny Malkin also signed on. "I'm on the Putin team," he wrote, "because I am sure that if we come together, we can do anything. Our president, Vladimir Putin, has said that Russia's borders never end. That's insane. I can say the same thing about our abilities. The resources of real professionals is limitless, especially if there is support. Together, we will make Russia stronger." Borders never end? So you're okay with the illegal invasion of Ukraine? Got it. To be clear, the meeting did not go well in front of the press with Carney. Take a look.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
True. And they have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
Never say never. That's exactly what a mob boss would say when he wants to colonize our friendly neighbors to the north. To be very clear, for all the Canadians watching, number one, welcome. Number two, shout out to David Dole. And number three, there are so many of us who despise this. I want to be very clear. We are not in favor of this. We did not vote for this, number one. And now that it has been inflicted upon us, we hate it. This is not something that we want to do. The best way for North America to be a stronger North America is for the allies to go forward in unison, not through Trump tribalism and going after our allies and neighbors and treating them awfully, to put it politely. The Pinnacle Gazette would conclude, Trump's comments came amid ongoing tensions between the United States and Canada, primarily due to his tariff war and his controversial suggestion that Canada be the 51st state, which Carney made very, very clear. Very clear. It's not happening. Canada's not for sale. It's not happening. During the presser, when asked about concessions he wanted from Canada, Trump would sidestep it, saying, I just want to be friends with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. You know why he's doing this? Because his guy lost. The opposition of Carney lost. The pro-Trump, pro-MAGA, pro-Elon guy, he lost. So this is what he has to deal with now. He also knows, and I do believe this, that Carney was elected on a strong anti-Trump, Canada is not for sale message. And the liberals had no chance, because it's called the Liberal Party, to be clear, for the Americans who are unaware, had very little chance of winning. And then they realized who was heavily in favor of winning and how they just wanted to cater to Trumpism and Elon. And the voters rejected it. So now Trump has to deal with Carney, which is a good thing. I don't know what Trump thinks about this trade war. I've spoken with a few people who say he doesn't know what he's doing. And I tend to agree that he never really knows what he's doing. But in turn, when I presented them with, yeah, but like there has to be some motive, there has to be some end goal, they all said no. So Donald Trump has alienated us from the entire world. Many other countries are moving on from us. Our soybean industry is going to take a humongous hit, along with our economy, of course, because this is just what Republican presidents do over and over again. And we have a president whose brain is probably mush, which also leads me to believe that there are so many other key players that are calling the shots and making decisions, a la a Stephen Miller, a la a Steve Bannon, a la a J.D. Vance, a la a Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk, and David Sachs, who are part of the PayPal mafia, because they know this man is incompetent. He could rattle off a few talking points here and there, but the amount of times that we see this man not be able to not only string sentences together, but also the amount of times that he misremembers basic things is alarming. And I want to be clear about this. I am no, if you've been watching the show, you know where I'm going here. I am no Joe Biden stan. The fact that we are learning through Jake Tapper's new book that he has dementia, according to the reporting, is troubling. And I think it's also an indictment of mainstream media that they would protect Joe Biden, because that's just how they roll. They're all part of the same club. We're not in it, as George Carlin would say, famously. So why aren't we treating Donald Trump the same way? That's my question. It has to be a level playing field here. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. We could use bleach in order to cure COVID. It's an island that's surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Incompetent. But sports is just one example of many. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.